गत कलियुगाब्ध 5111 श्री विरोधिनाम संवत्सर माघ मास शुक्ल पक्ष त्रयोदशी आर्द्रा नक्षत्र बृहस्पतिवासः the 28th day of January 2010. Welcome you all for this Maitri Milan session. In Bhagavad Gita, 16th chapter, Krishna makes this distinction very clearly about Daivi Sampat, Asuri Sampat. And a couple of shlokas are taken from these Daivi Sampat and Asuri Sampat in the Bhakti Yoga Shloka Sangraha. And these, you can see that Tejakshama Dhrutihi Shaucham Adroho Natimanitaha Bhavanti Sampadam Daivim Abhijatasya Pandava. Hey Arjuna, that you are born with these Daivi Sampat. This is what Krishna says to Arjuna. And these are Tejaha, Kshama, Dhrutihi, Shaucham, Adroham, Atimanitaha, Natimanitaha, and all these things he says. These are a few of the other qualities that he talks about. Similarly, he talks about the Asuri Sampat, that means to say the demonic qualities within us, and these are like the Dambha, Darpa, etc. he talks about. Now, what is the essential difference between these Daivi Sampat and Asuri Sampat? Are the divine qualities and the demonic qualities within all of us. The difference between that he gives in the next sutra in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where he says, Daivi Sampat is that which gives you freedom. Daivi Sampat Vimokshaya, and demonic qualities, Asuri Sampat, are those qualities which bind you down. It may look to be very nice, it may be wonderful. When you see outside, when you see that it is something which is profitable, but on the long run, this is something which can bind you. And that is the broad definition between the Daivi Sampat and Asuri Sampat. That which gives you freedom is the one which is Daivi Sampat. That which binds you is the Asuri Sampat. Now that opens up the whole doors for much deeper, much wider understanding. From outside it might look to be something which is pleasant, which is good, but at the same time deep inside, that is something which can bind you. That is the idea that Krishna in Bhagavad Gita gives. It may be something like a good work from outside that you see, it may be a very pleasant thing, but then on a long run that it might be the same thing which can add disturbances to your mind. It is like the way that somebody may be doing very good work outwardly, but then if the good work is supposed to be, if he gets attached to, we get caught up in that. And that same, in the process of saying that, doing the same good work, that he might develop Dambha, Darpa, Krodha, Paurusha, all these things when they come up, naturally they become bad. That means to say that anger itself is not the origin, but behind that it may be a good work. Somebody may be doing very nice work, very important social work, which may be helping 100 others. Outwardly, when you see that, it looks like that he is helping 100 others, it may be great work that he is doing. But underneath, that same work may be developing in him the anger, hatred, jealousy, all these qualities. So that is why, whereas somebody else may be doing a very ordinary kind of work, a work which is of the nature of simply whatever that he performs, is supposed to be performing. But at the same time, in that work that he does, if he develops his compassion and his love and his forgiveness, all these things, that means to say that same work will be able to utilize, will be utilized in the form of a spiritual journey. So that is why it is the what work that you do is important, but what is there behind it. Similarly, the same concept is given in the Upanishad saying that Sometimes some things look to be very dear, nice, wonderful, very good. But then there are some other things which may not look to be dear, good, wonderful, but at the same time they may be useful for your nature. It is like the way the bitter pill. From the outwardly, the taste of the bitter pill may be something which is bitter, you don't like it, but maybe it is something which can help your system to become alright. Something may be very sweet, particularly sugar is very good, look to be very nice, but on a long run, it can become the greater poison. In fact, the white poison, that is what I have read an article about the sugar. So this is how essentially from what you see outside, it is what is called as prayas, that means to say what I like, but then there is something which is called as shreyas, what is good. So don't go for shreyas, go for prayas. Don't go for prayas, go for shreyas. Many times things look to be nice outside, may also be good. Not that everything that looks outside is bad. Good outside is inside bad. It is not that idea. But only thing is that you have to go by the yardstick of what you, not what you like, but on the yardstick of what is something which is good for you. A discipline is something which is good for us. It may not be something which you like outside. But then what is good for you, go by that. This is what in Kathopanishad, the Upanishad writer talks about that, saying that whatever that is shreyas, that is good for you, please take that and go ahead. Now, what is the essential difference between the Daivi Sampat and Asuri Sampat? That means to say the divine qualities within us and the devil qualities or the demonic qualities within us. What is the difference if you look at it? One simple underlying principle between these two is the ego. Like, for example, is that the divine qualities like love, compassion, forgiveness, and peaceful state, all these things which are supposed to be the divine qualities, they have come by nature. That means to say they are not tutored, they are not what you cultivated, they are something which you are born with. A child has not yet developed any intellect interacting in this world, also knows to throw a smile. A child by birth knows to tell the truth. A child by birth is something which is pleasant. Compassion is naturally there in the child. That somebody is suffering, you see, the child cries. That shows that there is a natural spontaneous flow of compassion. So these qualities called as the divine qualities, supposed to be Daivi Sampat, are the qualities which we are born with. By nature that you have all these qualities. It is not that you have to tutor, it is not that you have to cultivate these qualities from outside, they are there with us, we are born. Not only that we have these qualities, not only human being has these qualities, even the animals have these qualities, even the plants have these qualities of love, compassion, etc. All these things, only thing is that we may not be able to recognize. Particularly in the case of animals, you can see that when one animal is suffering, you look at the face of the other animal, the very eyes show the compassion for that particular animal who is suffering. So they are all alerted, they are all ready. So this way, that a Daivi Sampat is something which you are born with. You don't have to do anything. That's why Vivekananda said, each soul is potentially divine. That means to say, to be born with, you have these Daivi Sampat. And not only that, these qualities which are supposed to be Daivi Sampat are the qualities, do not go away. Somebody might say that, look, I don't have anything called as love, compassion, never comes to me. In the case of others, it comes up so spontaneously. Whereas in my case, I don't spontaneously get this compassion. It is not that we don't have compassion, but only thing is that it has so many thick layers of dust on top of it piled up. And this dust may be your own intellectual idea, your own thinking. And not only that, somebody who shows that compassion, you have an appreciation. You say that he is God-like. Like a very simple example is that you are going on the road and suddenly somebody meets with an accident and the person is suffering, maybe some fracture, maybe something like that, some injury, and then you are passing by. Deep inside your heart, a wave comes up saying that, come on, let me go and help him. This is what naturally comes up. This is a spontaneous response from the world outside. But then immediately your intellect comes up saying that, well, I am going to get late to the office if I get stuck up with this particular thing. Or if I go that he needs any medical assistance, I may have to go to the hospital. I may spend my time in the hospital. Maybe this can become a police case. Maybe I have to go around the court. So many things come up, and then you say, okay, somebody will take care of it, let me go ahead. This is how we do. Whereas when we do that kind of a thing, my own colleague going to the same office, the moment he stops there, takes him up in his car or the scooter, whatever it is, and takes him to the hospital, feeds him and all that. And he comes to the office late, and then you say, wow, you know, what I could not do it. He did it. He is like God. Somebody who helps others, somebody who gives to others, not expecting any return, you say that he is God. That same impulse was there within you also. Only thing is it is covered by so much of dust, so much of cloud. That's the reason why Daivi Sampat is always there within us, the godliness is always within us. And not only that, we also have an appreciation for that godliness. Otherwise we would not have felt that person who has helped is a great fellow, is a wonderful fellow. And in fact you go to 10 other people and say that look at this fellow, he unconditionally he helps others. So this love and compassion, this Daivi Sampat is there already within us. Now what is the idea of Bhakti Yoga? Bhakti Yoga is essentially a conscious process of developing this Daivi Sampat that is there within you to come to the forefront. At least you feel within yourself the love, compassion, appreciation, and to see that they manifest in your activity. Today, the world is facing so much of terrorism, so much of destruction problem. It's all because that we do not have this Daivi Sampat projecting outside. We have that deep inside potentially, but that they have not manifested. So in the name of yoga, today anything that is required in the world, it is not that you bend the body, twist the body, Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga, but much more important thing is this Bhakti Yoga concept of it. This Daivi Sampat seems to be is spontaneous, like love, compassion, as I said. Animals also have love. Plants also respond to love. So they all have this natural qualities called as love, compassion, appreciation. But somebody might say that even my anger, hatred, jealousy, these things also come up very spontaneously. Like for example, somebody says something, at once my anger comes up. At once my jealousy comes up the moment I see somebody having and I don't have it. So it looks like that Daivi Sampat also seems to be spontaneous and Asuri Sampat also seems to be spontaneous. Divine qualities come up spontaneously, but even the devil qualities also, the demonic qualities also come up spontaneously. This is where we need to have a little more deeper insight, saying that the demonic qualities, the Asuri Sampat, they are not spontaneous. They do not come up naturally. In fact, they are born out of ego. They come up because of ego. Just closely watch. Your anger is not spontaneous. When you look at whenever you are angry because that the other fellow did not do the way that you wanted him to do it, that I wanted him to do it becomes important. Jealousy is that I don't have it, he has it, that I becomes important. So that is the reason why jealousy comes up. And it comes up so deep, this I, so deep it goes into, even in our dream. A fellow was sleeping and in his dream, God appeared to him and said, you are such a great fellow, you are a wonderful person, you did so many wonderful things. I would like to help you. I would like to give you whatever that you ask for, so that more work, good work can be done in this world. So why don't you please ask for something? So God appeared to him in his dream and asked him that way. He was really surprised. He was so happy. He was so pleased. He thought at least God has now recognized that how good I am. But then the God said that I would like to give you all those things, but there is one small little simple clause. And what is that clause? Your next door neighbor, he is also a great fellow. He is also a wonderful fellow. He's also equally good. He has done so many good things to the world. I also wanted to help him. And I went to him and asked him, you ask for anything. But he's so modest. He's so modest that he does not ask for anything. That is the extra quality that he has, which you do not have anyway. But then I would like to help both of you. So that is why I thought of one thing, that you ask for something for yourself, so that not only I definitely give you whatever that you ask for, but twice of it I give it to your neighbor also. Immediately the jealousy came up. And he thought for a while, and then he said, oh God, take away one of my eyes, so that my neighbor let him lose both his eyes. What an unfortunate thing this is. How deep this jealousy goes into us. Hatred, jealousy, anger, these are all part of Asuri Sampat. You don't even have to analyze. You can even see for yourself that whenever you are in the Daivi Sampat, that means whenever you are manifesting the love, compassion and self-control, etc., all these things, you can see that you are happier, you are pleasant, you don't have to be afraid of. Whereas on the other hand, whenever you are caught in the grips of anger, hatred, jealousy, greed, and all these things, you can see that you are unpleasant, the world is unpleasant, and the fear factor increases in you, that what you have, you might lose it. All these problems come up whenever you are in the Asuri Sampat. That means to say, you don't even have to understand, go deep into understanding all those things, that you can see that at once this Asuri Sampat is something which is an unpleasant experience. That's one of the reasons why the greatest criminals also, they would like to have their nearby people to follow something which is like dharma, the good qualities. A big robber may be there, but he would like to see that his followers will at least be honest to him. He may not be, he may be totally dishonest. So this is how essentially Daivi Sampat is something which is very important. Now what is that which brings about the Asuri Sampat? As I said, it is the ego that brings about Asuri Sampat. In fact, every anger, hatred, jealousy responses that we have, you can see that they are not spontaneous, they are born out of ego. And then as much as we try to control the anger, we try to control the jealousy, we try to control the greed, then these things manifest in other forms of Asuri Sampat. They are not eliminated. Like you control your anger, naturally what happens is your inner disturbances increase, your dissatisfaction, misery increases. That's why when Bhakti Yoga says remove this Asuri Sampat, it does not mean that he is asking us to suppress them. It is to sublimate them. It is to eliminate them. Go to the root and take it away. We are trying to control the anger, only suppress the anger. That's what you can see. People saying that I have been controlling my anger for the last couple of months or 3-4 months, and now I think you are reaching the limit. So this is how we say. That means you have not really eliminated, you become like a volcano inside. All these things are disturbing forces with it. When Krishna talks about this Asuri Sampat, that means to say Dambha, Darpa, etc., all those things, it is not for the sake of the world, it is for the sake of oneself. You may be fighting the war, but your war fighting should come out of Daivi Sampat, not out of Asuri Sampat. That is what is the message that he gives to Arjuna. That means to say, give up your ego. You go to the root cause, that's what is ego. Give up the ego, then all these things will happen. Bhakti Yoga, that's why it is not to find God, but to dissolve the ego. Surrender yourself. In fact, when you are not there, what is there in this creation outside? Nothing but God. This whole creation comes from the same divinity from which that you have come, and that all other your people have come. It's all the same divinity. Only thing is that we recognize this divinity. We don't recognize this divinity because we have the veil of the cloud of I in front of it. The question comes, why this I comes? We have nurtured it all the time. Right from the childhood, we have nurtured this I, and that's how essentially the I becomes so important. The child becomes the center of the whole house. Everybody is wandering around the child, doing everything around the child. That way the child feels that, look, I am the greatest. And first day the child goes to the school and comes back home, everybody is around that child as if that child is going to the school is very important. So this is how basically we try to do that. Of course, our intentions are good, saying that the child should be encouraged. But in the process you see that you are also nurturing this ego. And that's why basically as we have grown up, the ego becomes such a strong hold that in every activity that ego comes up. I am very important. And this manifests in so many ways that you sit at the bus stop, the bus comes 5 minutes late, and then you say that whenever I come to catch the bus is late. As if the lateness of the bus is depending on you. No, the bus always comes late. But you don't say that. Whenever I come, comes late. And whatever that I read will not come in the exam. As if what I read is important, what I do not read becomes important. The whole exam based on you. Thus I becomes important. Not only that, if some accident takes place, 10 other people are injured, you are not injured, then you say, God has been very, very kind, very great, wonderful, that even though there were 20 others injured, I am not injured, as if God specially cares for you. This I becomes so important. George Bernard Shaw, somebody went to him when Gandhiji was assassinated and asked him that what is your statement, what is your comment about Gandhiji being assassinated. Bernard Shaw said, he is very humorous, and in a humoristic way he said that after 2 world wars, the world really requires the guidance of great people, and unfortunately what a loss for the world that these great people are dying, are going away from this world, and who will guide these people? Recently Henry Thoreau died. Henry Thoreau was a great person, thinker. He died, and now Gandhiji has been assassinated. Even my health is not all right. Great people, you know. This is how we bring about this ego comes up. Ego has 3 different phases. One is the ego of the doer, the kartrutva ego, and the other is the bhoktrutva ego, the experiencer ego, and the third one is the jnatrutva, the identifier ego. These are the 3 different egos. According to the Indian philosophy, such a beautiful definition, in English we have only one word called ego, but whereas in Indian philosophy we have 2 different words for ego. One is called as asmita and the other is ahankara. Asmita is supposed to be the good ego, ahankara is the bad ego. The good ego is something which is constructive, which is useful, which is better, improving. That's what is good ego. And the bad ego is that which pushes you down, which eliminates you, or which isolates you from the world. And that's what is the bad ego. The bad ego is called as ahankara, good ego is called as asmita. Like the way that you want to get up early in the morning, do yoga, go for some physical exercise. When you want to do all those things, you require inner strength, without which you cannot do it. And that inner strength, you want to do it, whether it is sun or rain, whether it is crowded or not crowded, you would like to go for your walk, you would like to go for your exercise, like to do your yoga. This is what is good ego. Nurture this good ego, that's what yoga says. Similarly, when you are eating food, the doctor said that this is not good for you, but then your tongue says, I would like to eat. Something which controls you, saying that, okay, let me not eat it, let me take it peacefully. And that is what is good ego. That means to say, with the good ego, we try to eliminate the bad ego. The bad ego is the one which takes you out into the world, makes you a slave for the world outside. Let us try to eliminate this bad ego. The bad ego is the one which converts itself in the form of anger, hatred, jealousy, dampo, darpo, vimanasya, krodho, parushyame. All these qualities are born out of bad ego. A person who comes to Prashanti lives here. Our idea is to see that we try to create, nurture this good ego, an ego that will discipline us, an ego that will help us to see that we integrate with the world outside, and consciously we try to subdue, eliminate this bad ego, this asuri sampat, the demonic qualities. Then we will be a better human being. Having read Bhagavad Gita or having practiced the whole day spend the whole day in the yoga way of life, is it not our duty that we see that we will not take the shelter under Asuri Sampat, the bad ego? Let us try to understand that.